Nicotine is amongst the many substances that people are susceptible to addiction by. The toxic liquid is found in many products today, ranging from cigarettes, vapes, cigars, and insecticides. Young adults are at most risk to nicotine and its implications. Many individuals undergo stages of using nicotine in which alters their way of health. However, in more recent years, treatment has advanced and become of better help for recovering nicotine addicts. Nicotine is extracted from the tobacco plant and is at its base colorless and odorless. As it becomes in contact with the air around, it forms a yellow tint. Nicotine is also in the organic-based alkaloid family with familiar organic compounds such as cocaine and morphine. In the past, the chemical has been used for insecticides in organic gardening. Scientists have since then found how deadly the chemical can be. For example, it is even deadlier than the deadliest snake and spider venom. As users of nicotine continue to use the product, they are at high risk for developing long-term health issues in the lungs, brain, nervous system, and other essential body parts. Addiction is the urge to constantly be brought back to something in return for pleasure or reward. Nicotine is highly susceptible to addiction, especially in young adults and teens. As an individual is presented with an addictive substance, such as cigarettes or vapes, then it starts the reliance of that substance. As time progresses, 2 cigarettes a day turn into 4, and so on. The tolerance of an individual requires more of the substance to have the same effect and feeling to fuel the addiction. Other addictive symptoms occur, such as withdrawals and dependent behavior towards the substance. As a user becomes addicted to nicotine, they tend to have dramatic physical and mental health effects that impact their way of life. The causes of young adults and teens considering and becoming addicted to forms of nicotine can come from a variety of reasons. The most popular form amongst teens and young adults for trying products such as vapes, e-cigs, and cigarettes is peer pressure. Individuals see their friends and idols that smoke and use nicotine substances and conclude that it is either cool or completely fine to do. Publicizing of products such as e-cigarettes, hookahs, and other forms of nicotine-containing substances can also urge young adults into trying them as to flow with the trend. Certain brands of products in the modern society have gone as far as to appeal towards a younger audience rather than an older one. The effects that smoking culture is having on the youth is leading to an unhealthy and dangerous future for many who continue to use the substance in their daily lives. In the modern age, with much easier access to substance containing nicotine, doors are open for young individuals who try and experiment, while doors are also open for many dangerous consequences down the road of their lives. The effect that nicotine and tobacco use can have on the body is massive. The chemicals found in tobacco smoke can lead to serious health defects such as lung cancer, heart disease, stroke, and weakened immune system, breathing problems, and most occasionally, death. The nicotine found in these products can cause an array of problems for the average consumer. Complications such as reduced oxygen levels from the carbon monoxide, increased heart rate, and blood pressure, as well as mental wellness, is all due to the use of nicotine. A person that consumes heavy doses of the chemical can develop anxiety and eat away at the gray matter contained in the brain. Short-term implications can occur from the use of nicotine for the first few times. Once the chemical is consumed, neurons are triggered within the brain, which releases the chemical dopamine. This chemical is responsible for the pleasure and satisfaction that we feel. Specific times that dopamine is released are usually during survival functions such as consuming nutrients and having sex. Thus, consuming nicotine is tricking the brain into reinforcing it as a positive experience. This can then lead to further progression as nicotine is used for a longer term. Short-term effects such as breathing problems, coughing, development of phlegm, bad breath, development of yellow-tinted teeth, and shortness of breath can all be prevented by not using the chemical nicotine. Many individuals, especially teens and young adults, think that if they use an e-cigarette or hookah, that it is not like using a normal cigarette. There is no nicotine. This is not the case, and this mentality leads many young individuals becoming addicted to the chemical and having addictive symptoms without even realizing it. The long-term effects of the nicotine use can be far worse than any short-term effects. Cancer in the lungs, kidney, mouth, and throat are some of the consequences that may occur with the long-term use of the deadly chemical. As an individual prolongs the use, they may become sick or more often to develop chronic diseases such as bronchitis or emphysema. According to the website Parent Further from 2015, the biggest risk of nicotine intake is the loss of life and impact of death. Statistics show that a long-term user may live up to 20 years less than an average non-user. Physical appearances also change in an individual with the long-term effects of nicotine addiction. Certain physical aspects such as tooth decay, bags under your eyes, yellow fingertips, and premature aging in the skin such as wrinkles. While these problems and consequences are harsh, there is treatment out there and many agencies and people willing to help nicotine addicts. Smoking and nicotine treatments have flourished in recent modern years due to the research conducted and how harmful the substance is and with how many people are becoming addicted each year. Some of the many treatments include medicinal treatment to replace the nicotine and nicotine replacement therapy, in which the individual uses a patch or gum or inhaler to ease the urge of the addiction. These treatments paired alongside counseling and support groups that have the greatest impact on helping recovering addicts into being sober. Nicotine is a dangerous toxin that many young adults and teens have a false belief of, and the consequences of addiction are severe. However, there is help out there, and it should be taken sooner than later for our next generation of citizens.